Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now call to order the city council meeting this December 9th, 2024, Blue Hills, West Virginia. We will now have our roll call.
Mayor Charles Briscoe.
Here.
Council at Large Bill Hannibas.
Here.
Councilors from Ward 1, Terry Van Buskirk.
Here.
Roger Evans.
Here.
Diana Janey.
Here.
Councilors from Ward 2, Tim Buskus.
Present.
PJ Elder.
Here.
Chris Gill.
Here.
Thank you. I'm sure you've all read our minutes. We can get a motion to approve the minutes.
I did notice something in the minutes. And it was kind of last minute that one of the things is Chris had recruit loosed from voting on one of the police hirings. It's backwards.
Oh, she has it on the wrong.
It just needs to be flipped. There was 2 police hirings. It just needs to be flipped around. And I'll motion to accept it.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second that the reading of the minutes be approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We'll need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I motion to separate the treasurer report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further questions on the motion? All those in favor to accept the treasurer's report, say aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Do we have any correspondence? Do you need to further, you want to further talk about it? Are you okay? You want to talk about it later?
Talk about 11, yes.
All right, we now open the floor for citizens' comments, and with us today is Ms. Rista. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yes, please.
How are you all tonight?
Good.
My name is Dr. Mandy Riston, and I am one of the lead mentors with Leadership Fayette County. And hopefully all of you got my email invitation to attend our session in January on the 16th at the Lewis Center at 12 o'clock. We're going to serve you lunch. Traditionally, we call this session the Cooking Challenge because the students participate in a team building activity in the beginning of the morning to cook dinner for our VIPs, the people that we invite to the session. And then normally we just give time during lunch or afterwards for our community leaders to just have a conversation with the students and meet them and ask them what they've been up to at that point during the year. However, during our November session, something really special happened. We had the students participate in an activity called a charrette. And for them, this was to help them start thinking about how to build a community, how to design a community, and what would they like their communities to look like in the next 15 years. And I was completely blown away by what came out of that session, because I wasn't prepared for how organically our students, these are juniors in high school, how organically these juniors in high schools just understood what it took and what they wanted to see their communities look like in the next 15 years. And so some of the things that they talked about are things that I hear our city council and even in Fayetteville, our town council there struggle with or ask questions about. And so I thought to myself, we're always as adults asking, what is it that we can do to keep our young people here or entice them to come back after they go to college? And so I thought, I've got to get these kids in front of Oak Hill City Council, because I think that you will hear a message and maybe get some questions answered that you probably just had for yourselves over the time. And so this is just a personal invitation. It would mean the world to these students if you would come. And I know it's difficult because you have jobs and you have other responsibilities. Even if you can send a representative on your behalf just to listen and bring back information, it would mean the world to them. they practiced their presentations today during their session. And it was sort of like, this is just another activity that Mandy and Jeff Heater are having us do. But then when we told them who we were going to invite, they were like, you're going to put us in front of people, decision makers, leaders of the community. And then it clicked. So they're excited and they're hoping that you're going to come. So I don't know how to end it.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Riston?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You guys have a good night.
You just want us to let you know if we can attend.
If you could send me an email, I included my phone number in the email. If you want to email, call me, text me, let me know that you're coming that week. We have an idea of how much food we need to fix that day. And if you want to bring somebody with you, by all means, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need Monday, the 13th, the 16th.
It's that in the.
It's during the day, right?
Yeah, it's on a Thursday at noon.
Thursday at noon. Can you make a note to put that in our? Please, thank you.
All right. We got a special invitation from the New River Symphony Chorus. They have a concert and unfortunately it's tonight at 7. So sorry guys that we could not make that, but maybe next year. We will now move into our unfinished business. The vacant building registration fees. I now open the public hearing. Does anyone have any comments? If no one has any comments, I now close the public hearing. We'll move on to unfinished business. Item number 2, consider lifting the sunset date and make other revisions to the recreational trail vehicles ordinance OHMC 10.12.
That is, the ordinance that you had first reading on the last, and I think it's in, yeah. And it changes the vacant property registration fees and makes the time shorter. It's a 60-day time limit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the, this is the wrong agenda.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because this agenda is different from
Yes.
what we
This
have.
is the wrong, this is wrong.
Oh, okay. I have one.
Sure is.
This should be vacant. 2 should be.
I'm sure Lane,
Number 2 should be vacant property.
number 2 is supposed to be, here it is.
Proposed amendment. Okay.
Okay, item number 2 is consideration to adopt amendments to vacant building ordinance OHMC 11.12.
I know, but I had to change it, and I changed it in this year, not but she has to bring the comments. And there's the agreements. I have to get minutes. What you all looked at was.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Take every now and then, we ain't human.
So it's the vacant property registration. Yeah. Yeah. So changed the 60-day, changed it to 60 days and because it was 180. and the fees have changed. And we advertised for the public hearing. We had this, amendment in our office available for people.
The hearing, because it involved a fee.
Yeah, and after I looked at it more, we really wouldn't have had to have a hearing because it wasn't the main, well, it wasn't the main reason for this ordinance. However, it was the main reason for the amendment. So we probably would have been okay without one, but obviously on this side.
Be safe than sorry.
It's if the main reason is for income, then you have.
Mayor, I will make the motion to adopt the amendments to vacant building ordinance 11-12.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the amendments to the vacant building ordinance. All those in favor?
Mayor, if I could,
Go ahead.
I voted no for the first meeting, and I just want to state why. I think the registration fee is too expensive. I believe in a vacant property registration program, but I think it's a burden on people that obviously are already burdened with the cost of maintaining property. It's some type of financial problem for them in most cases. And I think that starting out with a $200 registration fee, number one, certainly not going to entice somebody to register their property. And second of all, it's going to penalize somebody that might be in dire needs of cash to get their vacant property occupied. So I'm just wanting to state I just wanted to let everybody know why I oppose it.
We have the motion and the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Ah,
Motion is carried. Thank you. Number 3 is consider lifting the sunset date and make other revisions to the recreational trail vehicles ordinance. Elk Municipal Code 10.12.
And I talked with the chief of police, and the only thing that he recommended was to remove the helmet requirement. And did you have anything to say about this?
No, ma'am. He just said if y'all had any questions or any concerns, that I would be here to answer those for you.
He was okay with the rest of the ordinance. He would just like to have that repealed. And then, of course, the sunset date. Including motion to eliminate.
I have a question. So currently, right now, it does list that you have to wear a helmet.
But the state code, it's not.
So that would be the reason why Chief would make that recommendation.
It's because I don't think they're enforcing it now because of that.
I make a motion that we repeal the helmet requirement. And I also make the motion that we repeal the March 31st sunset date. They both be removed from in 12 all-terrain vehicle.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? Motion is carried. Number 4 is the consider amending Municipal Code 10.04.010F, restricted areas for skateboards, inline skates, rollerblades, and bicycles. And as you noticed, when we walked in tonight, there was a young man skating right in front of the door here. He about broke his tailbone. So.
I'm gonna ask for council to table this until next month. I didn't get to talk with Josh on this, and he did put together some recommendations, but there's a whole area for bicycles, a whole different part of the code, and I think that we need to go put his bicycle recommendations in the bicycle code and then deal with the skateboards in this section. So you would say what? Next month?
I move to table this item until the January meeting.
Second that.
All right, motion's been made to table this item. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion's carried. Moving to number 5, consider allowing the farmer's market to use Rick Rutledge Pavilion for other uses.
I recommend that council table this indefinitely. Angela Perry told me that if she did not get back with me before this meeting, that she was going to drop this request.
I move to table this item indefinitely.
I second that.
We have a motion and second to table this item indefinitely. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move to new business. Item number 6, consider implementing a camping ordinance.
This is a ordinance that's recommended by our police department. And I think that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That Lieutenant Pike has something, wants to talk about.
Good evening, council. I'm sure most of y'all are aware, we get multiple complaints about people camping on our railroad trails, in the city park, sleeping on the benches. I mean, there's all kinds of complaints that we receive on a daily basis, and some are even from some of the council members. As you're driving around, you see these things. I have done extensive research into this, and there's a handful of cities in the state of West Virginia that has implemented a camping ordinance. And also, this has been brought about, just to clarify a few things, from a ordinance that was issued in Grants Pass, Oregon, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court regarding whether this was actually legal. The Supreme Court upheld that yes, this camping ordinance is legal and it does not violate any citizen's constitutional rights, due to the fact of the ordinance doesn't target a specific individual. It targets anybody that is camping or has the camping gear or anything in the definitions of what we've used. So I reached out to other cities in the state of West Virginia, which was Morgantown, Wheeling, Parkersburg, Clarksburg, Bluefield, and Princeton. And not all of these has, had their second reading or actually started enforcing them. There's only a couple. But I feel like we would benefit from this, being able to not only clean these areas up so that it's not an eyesore or even a health factor of sanitation, but also it would help the individuals that are doing this camping if they are having some sort of problems such as addiction or anything like that. It also allows us to use the programs by the judge to have them go through with this. Plus, it assists the citizens in the aspect of, they're not looking at these eyesores and trash on our rails to trail and trash on our city benches, and our city workers don't have to pick up as much trash if we implement this ordinance and that it's carried out. Anybody have any questions, or concerns, or?
So what happens if you go to one of these, you can get picnic tables down the rails of trails. Okay. And there's camping stuff there now. What happens to it? Do you guys do anything
Right now,
right now?
right now, we just request that they remove it. Of course, if they leave it there, we can cite them for littering. But that's the gist of it. And then, of course, if it stays there for a certain period of time, the city workers go down and they end up, they have to throw it away and clean it up.
Versus what happens if this ordinance passed.
Well, if this ordinance passes, something like that would happen. At that point, we would advise the individual of, hey, listen, we have a camping ordinance. And also just to give some reference in future hopes of this, the Hatfield McCoy Trail coming in, it actually allocates by the city manager's directory that she can issue permits for areas of camping. If somebody in the city wants somebody to camp on the property, like, if Mr. Elder has a friend that wants to camp on his property, there's a permit access to do that so that it's not, it's not illegal. But with this ordinance, it would allow us to either find the individual, which would be the same as the littering, or like I said, a lot of these individuals that are doing this camping, they have some sort of alcoholism, addiction, other issues. We've dealt with individuals that are mentally unstable that are just out here. They actually have homes. They're just out here doing this. And this allows the city judge to issue them, instead of a fine, to say, hey, listen, we're going to set this fine aside, but you have to get help. Like it's court ordered help. And I feel that would allow us to one, clean up the areas that we have, but also get the individuals that are going through these rough times and actually get them help to where it's kind of like, hey, you have to do this.
The permit you was talking about for camping, like if Mr. Elder did have somebody, does that permit have a time limit on it?
Yes, and like I said, again, it's up to the city manager to issue the permit. We've also had multiple calls where individuals own a few lots, 2 or 3 lots, in the city, and they find somebody camping on their property. Well, again, this is one of them. Hey, you got a ticket for trespassing, you got a ticket for littering. Here's your tickets. Go on about your way. There's not a whole lot we can do. Well, again, this is one of those issues where if they don't have written permission from that individual, whether it be a VRBO that somebody owns in Washington, and they don't have written permission from that owner, and they say, oh, I was allowed to. Well, if you don't have written permission, then at that point you would be violating this ordinance. And then at that point, again, it allows us to go through the process of saying, hey, here's some avenues that we're going to help you. If you don't want to pay the fine, you can go through these courses or treatments or the other availabilities that we have through the court system. Like I said, as far as the permits, that was one issue that I foreseen might be a problem later. So instead of trying to revise it later, we just kind of left it in the power of the city manager. That way, if this trail comes in, which I hope it does, but if it does come in, then any individual that has some property in here, they would be allowed to open that to camping or to have an RV. And also it protects us from another concern of ours, and some of the officers was, well, what about the trailer parks? Then at that point, well, again, an aspect of that, the city manager has to grant a permit for them to do that. So it's not just something that they can, just say, oh, well, I'm good to do it. Right. So, unfortunately, I've provided her with a little more work, but like I said, there's a lot of protections and foresight into this.
This requires 2 readings to enact the ordinance. So does this, we were to go with this, could this tonight's be a first reading, or does it have to go for next month to be a first reading?
No.
It can be a first
This
reading.
will be the first one.
I'd like to make the motion that we accept the recommendation of creating the ordinance of the city of Oak Hill to prohibit camping on public property and unauthorized private property. And tonight be the first reading of it.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Diane. Keep forgetting your name. All opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you, Lieutenant Petty.
Yes, sir.
Now that you got the promotion, are you not gonna be able to drive me this year?
I'll drive you whenever you want. Just let me know.
Yeah. Moving on, number 7, consider changing I can't even say it. Consider changing residency requirements for city manager. Article 10, number 2 of the charter.
Currently, the charter says that the city manager has to live, shall reside within the city. I would propose or recommend that you change that to within the county, within Fayette County, so that when you are looking for a city manager, opens up places for someone to live. Just so that, sometimes there's not any available housing in for someone to live. So I think it would be better to have that open to the county. This is a charter change, so it requires a public hearing. We'll have time to do that next month. Also, that's the charge.
I would move to pass the charter change to Article 10, parentheses 2 of the charter.
Second.
We have a motion and second. The charter change requirements for city manager. All those in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Hopefully we won't have to worry about that for a while. Number 8, consider request from chief of police to use opioid settlement funds to purchase additional cameras.
Yes, we have implemented the cameras. I believe there was 30 that we purchased, and some of the cell boxes. Again, we have looked up other cases and stuff, and they've solved some murders and things of that nature using some cameras similar to what we have. As many of you are aware, we just had an issue at the city park. Our cameras down there were able to, they allowed us to identify and find out what individuals actually done the destruction, stole the items, and we're working on that in the process. So they have been very beneficial. We already have some cameras at the city park from this last lot that we bought, but we also have some older city cameras that I know we had at the department. I know there was a few up here at the amphitheater, and that would probably have to be replaced within a short period of time here because they're going out. So in light of that, we figured it would be best to use these cameras that we're already using that y'all allowed us to purchase last time. An aspect of it, they have more capabilities to assist us and to assist the citizens in what we can do with them. So the chief said, asked me to come up here and request up to another $50,000 to implement more cameras at the city park to replace what needs to be replaced down there from our old camera system, to update it. And I know the amphitheater was another spot right now that he mentioned, along with the rails to trail. As many of y'all are aware, they're internet based, so that would allow us to purchase more cell boxes to put them out where in areas that we don't have cells or we don't have internet service from the businesses or the city itself.
How many more was he wanting?
Well, like I said, right now it's kind of one of them deals where we're replacing stuff as it goes out and we're implementing it in problem areas, of course, collecting the data and things of that nature. I know we've added 4 at the city park in the last month or two. I apologize. I hunted a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly what all they got done while I was gone, but I know there are 4 of our new cameras at the city park, and 2 of those require us to use the cell boxes. And what that does, that just provides that camera with internet through a cellular service, like a hotspot type. So like I said, with those in mind, eventually we'd like to have one every intersection in town, every major crime area, at multiple at the park. I know Collins, we only have 1 camera in operation right now, again, with the cell data issue, because we have to have cell service, and out there's not really places. So that's what we're trying to implement is, again, and that was his request when I spoke to him today, was up to $50,000 more to implement the new cell boxes and more cameras.
How much money do we have left in that? So what else would we be able to spend that on?
I know, did we get the drone?
Yes.
We did.
So the city has 2 drones now, correct?
Well, yeah, 3. We have 2 larger drones and 1 small indoor drone. And again, I know Tyler has the one up here that he uses for his GIS stuff, and then we have the one for law enforcement, which I know Officer Bias is our drone pilot for that aspect, and he was actually called out this morning to find 2 missing people. And then there was a tactical situation where he actually had to use the indoor drone as well. So they're in use. Yes, sir.
I went down to the police headquarters a couple of weeks ago. It was by invitation, Chief Westman. He demonstrated the process and the techniques to use it. It's pretty good, pretty nice.
Oh, it's very impressive, especially at the schools. That indoor drone, we actually done a training scenario over the summer, and with that indoor drone, he could clear 3 hallways before 4 officers could actually clear 1 hallway. So, it's very beneficial. Yes, sir.
On the cameras, Lieutenant, some of them will be used to monitor areas of illegal drug activity as well, right?
Yes, sir. From my understanding with the task force and the chief, yes, sir.
I would, in light of the fact that in current news as of today, I believe, there was a murder in New York City that was in the national news very much. That was solved with video camera.
Yes, sir.
And they have a suspect in custody at this point. It wouldn't have been possible without video. And the chief of New York said that.
Yes, sir.
And in light of that, if it's allowable, I would consider authorizing $75,000 for video cameras.
I would second that.
Yes,
one
I would,
myself.
yes.
I'll put that in form of a motion.
Hold on. Sorry. If we have, do we have 200,000 left? What else could we use that for? That would be to do more than 75,000. Like he's saying, the camera technology is absolutely unbelievable. And as Lieutenant Back saying is, we like to have them in intersections.
You look at your return on investment too.
There's more. Could we do more than 75,000?
Yeah.
I think that's where the city's going to get the safety factor the biggest.
Yeah. You look at the return on
I don't know
investment.
if the chief had other plans. That money,
As of right now, like I said, I've been off for a little bit of time, so me and him, we haven't got to correlate a lot. And then, of course, he ended up sick over the weekend. So that's the discussion that we had right now. I'm sure.
What if we was to go with Bill 75 And then if something later, we still have that left to fall back
But
and come back to.
To a certain amount, and if you have.
So-
up to,
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm good with it.
Yes, sir.
so you want to make that a little bit?
up to $75,000.
I second it.
Thank you, Lieutenant. We have a motion and a second to use $75,000 of the opioid settlement money towards our camera system. All those in favor? All opposed? All right, thank you. All right, guys, I'm gonna move MS4 up, and then I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept all department reports at one time.
Oh, I'm still on gutters and downspouts. So where and how downspouts outlet are incredibly important. If they're disconnected and outlet over the ground, great. Just make sure they flow away from your home's foundation, but you are also not flooding your neighbors. If your downspouts are buried, you should check where they outlet or flow to and make sure they are not damaged in any way. If they simply daylight and run out over the ground, they will work like the disconnected downspouts. If they do not daylight anywhere, you'll want to find out where they go and possibly have them corrected. So don't let your water just run anywhere
Or connected to the sewer.
or connected to sewer, especially do not connect them to sewer.
Okay. Chief Richmond, did you have anything? We can get a motion to accept all the department reports.
I'll make a motion to accept all department reports.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to accept all department reports as is. All those in favor? All opposed? The motion is carried. Now we move to council comments. Anyone?
Yes, over the Thanksgiving week, I went down to the Lewiston where they had the community Thanksgiving dinner. Worked a little bit Tuesday morning and then also on Thanksgiving morning. And it was a good community effort. They served over 3,200 Thanksgiving dinners. Leslie Taylor was the contact person, I guess you would say. And she has it down to a science. So I just think I want to recognize everybody that was involved with that.
Thank you.
All right, I have a question. Maybe the city manager can answer the project, the sewer project. It was slated to start around in November. Is that on schedule still to start soon?
They've already started identifying manholes. We'll have our first project meeting Wednesday. We have a century board meeting Wednesday, so that afternoon we'll have a project. We can go over all the things that has been happening. But they have identified some manholes and have submitted their first invoice. Now that's contract number 2, which is they're the ones that are working. I don't know about the other contracts. So they're supposed to be. So it's 25.
And the Needles Eye Trail, bike trail, it's complete and opened up. Just get that out there so people.
I won't speak for Josh and Parks and Recreation, but I don't believe we've opened those up fully yet because the new trails, as much rain as we've gotten, we went through the whole summer with no rain and now we get it all. The trails with the compaction, they need traffic, but they don't need it when it's wet. So you gotta let it dry out a little bit and then it can get traffic on it and get compacted. Then it'll better sustain traffic during it. There's gonna be a temporary hold off on the large portion of the trails until weather's conducive to allow. That's the.
I just got one other thing, Mayor, and I just like to wish everybody a happy New Year's next year.
Thank you to you as well.
I just want to say it's very nice to see Valerie back.
Yes.
Yes, amen.
City manager, could we, get a report from time to time on what information the real estate agent may be relaying to you about the activity involved with the BB&T sale, any activity, interest, offers, anything like that, just to keep us,
So we're having a meeting with her tomorrow night. And she'll have the papers that we need to sign, and she's gonna update the building commission on what her ideas are and thoughts. So that after tomorrow, then we should be able to get.
Thank you.
Now, she's already been inside the building.
She's been inside the building, took some pictures. She's has some ideas for stuff, so. So if anybody wants to come tomorrow night.
Here, 6 o'clock, I'll be here.
Anyone else?
I was looking coming up here, I was thinking the train depot, man, I mean, they do such a fantastic job at Christmas with decoration. That is absolutely.
So Thursday night after the parade, we will have a lot of activity going on down there. Santa will be there. The beautification committee has gotten some bags together for Santa to give out to the kids. They'll have free hot dogs, chips and drinks. And, the depot will be open. So going down, it's usually, last year I thought it went well and it was fun. So hopefully
I think that was last
That's
year.
Thursday.
it's Thursday.
Yes. The parade starts at
6.
6
Right,
p.m.
starts at it starts Thursday at 6. And then after that, Santa will be at the depot with all the goodies.
And the rail trail is Friday. And then your dinner's Saturday.
Friday?
Aren't we doing the rail trail? I thought that was gonna be on Friday.
Thursday.
Okay.
That's when you're judging the.
Yeah, but
beaches.
I have. It's fine.
They changed it.
Yeah,
at the last
I wasn't at the last meeting, that's why. Okay, well, that's how it works. Okay. Go ahead.
So last December, we did something with the budget. Didn't we do like, you looked at the budget, half year's budget or something?
It's normally January that, so I can have all of.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, any future agenda items? If I may, Demita and I talked last week. We have several businesses, long-term businesses in town, and I'd like to recognize those guys. So maybe we can talk about it, I guess, amongst yourselves or whatever. Any ideas you can throw at us to come up with something to do for those guys. Demita had mentioned maybe some type of certificate or something like that, that we could just show our appreciation for them being a business in the city for so long. So whatever you think of, please just let us know. That's all I have.
Will that be on the agenda next month? Or just notify you?
Just let us know. I've been wanting for a long time to do a spotlight on businesses and just run it on social media. It's never happened.
A monthly thing or like each
Yeah,
month?
something like- Or weekly or whatever. And I may talk to Dreama to see if she can do that.
What about a decal? Like, and I'm just suggesting maybe with the Oak Hill logo, where it's established in whatever year they were established, and nice looking, and they can choose to put it out, put it forward.
Also like to recognize our newest employee, Miss Gretchen Brown. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
She will be starting on December 30th. So hold all your questions until then.
Don't bother Valerie.
Our next council meeting will be January 13th. So if all minds are clear, I say we consider this meeting